as reported by line units, ma'am, also in Baguio City.
You are basing your testimony, Lieutenant Colonel, on the report. Tama po ba?
Yes,
That's what
ma'am.
you said.
Yes, ma'am.
And this will only mean that you are not aware of the occurrence. If the statement that you're giving to us is based on the report and not on the personal knowledge of the occurrence, then you have no personal knowledge of how it happened.
I'm aware, ma'am, that it
You
was
are
really
aware of the
conducted.
data, you
Yes,
are
ma'am.
aware that it happened, but you were not personally there.
Yes, yes,
You
ma'am.
did not participate.
Yes, ma'am. We only provided some speakers as requested by the concerned unit.
How about this 22 that you mentioned in your certification? Ito ba na-attendan mo lahat?
No, ma'am. Honestly, ma'am, no.
Ilan out of 22 ang na-attendan mo, Lieutenant Colonel?
I think only in San Mariano, ma'am.
Only in San Mariano.
Ma'am, can I give a background on...
May I just make a manifestation? How can you validate an accomplishment report with a certification? The signatory has no personal knowledge of what happened. Lieutenant Colonel was able to attend only 1 out of 22 Youth Leadership Summit. And this is okay with COA? I'm sorry, but I do not understand. Colonel Buransing, if I may call you again, yun pong 8, ilan ang na-attendan nyo doon?
Colonel Boransing.
Out of 8 Youth Leadership Summit, ilan po yung na-attendan nyo?
Colonel Boransing, you're recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was only able to attend one.
So that means that you have no personal knowledge as well
I have
of all the 8 Youth Leadership Summit that happened.
I have personal knowledge of this, ma'am. Mr. Chair, if I may explain lang po, the structure of my position is I am the G7 of the Infantry Division. So the Infantry Division has 3 infantry brigades. They control 3, one has 4 provinces, the other has 1 province, and the other brigade has 1 province. So I am in charge of supervising. I am the Civil Military Operations Officer, Mr. Chair. So I closely monitor, we all closely monitor the program of the Youth Leadership Summit to ensure that it is multi-stakeholder and it fits the objectives of the program. So we have personal knowledge. We can't go around in each barangay, but they have, since we used budget from the Philippine Army, we have after-activity reports, fund utilization reports, pictures, and documentations. And we have to ensure this because we have a yearly inspection from higher headquarters. So we may not have been there, but we have personal knowledge. We are the program managers of this book.
You mentioned a while ago, Colonel Buransing,
Yes.
you were
madam.
using the fund of the Philippine Army. You confirm
Yes.
that?
Yes, Mr.
Are you
Chair.
sure?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
For the 8 YLS
Yes,
that
Mr.
were
Chair.
conducted, you used the fund of the Philippine Army.
For our participants, we used the Philippine Army. For the students, they used the local government unit funds, Mr. Chair.
Okay, that is clear. Mr. Chair, I just wish to manifest the statement of Colonel Buransing that during the Youth Leadership Summit, for the military, they are using their military fund, and for the children or the youth, they are using the LGU fund.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Please continue.
Yes. They use some use the provincial local government funds, And the municipalities, some delegates also are using the municipal LGU funds. And for the participants from the other stakeholders, from DepEd, from BIDEA, from the police, of course, they use their own funds. So it's really a multi-stakeholder.
In other
youth
words,
fund.
Mr. Chair, a lot of offices and agencies are using their respective funds for intelligence in conducting the Youth Leadership Summit. This is your statement, Colonel Buransing.
I didn't say intelligence funds, ma'am. What I said was, like for instance, for their billeting for the hotel, they have to pay from their own agency funds. For their food, they have to pay po.
What is clear, there are different offices
Involved.
who
in this.
shoulder their respective expenses
Yes, Mr.
for the
Chair.
purpose of Youth Leadership Summit.
Yes,
Tama?
Mr. Chair, yes.
In other words, it is not only the DepEd
Yes, Mr. Chair.
who spends its confidential fund.
I have no knowledge of what their source of funding is.
But in as far as you are concerned, kanya-kanyang gastos ang
KKB.
iba't ibang opisina.
KKP po.
And for the children, the youth, you said it is being shouldered by the LGU. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Colonel. May we request Lieutenant Colonel Panopio?
Colonel Panopio, you are recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
Colonel, I have with me another certification bearing the signature of Magtanggol Panopio. Is this your signature?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
On this certification, you certified 205 youth students from different schools. 3 youth leadership summits held in the provinces of Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, and Zambales. You confirm this?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Your Honor.
And similar to my question to Colonel Buransing and the other Lieutenant Colonel, nakalagay po sa certification nyo, to whom it may concern, to sa taas, sa baba, for the commander. Kanino po ba talaga naka-address itong certification nyo?
This is addressed to DepEd, ma'am. May I explain for the commander, ma'am?
And can you please kindly be particular, who in DepEd? Ang dami po nila sa DepEd. Sino po sa DepEd ang kausap nyo when you submitted this certification?
Yusek Nolasco Bempin, ma'am.
That's Yusek Mempin. Okay. And can you please substantiate as well the 3 youth leadership summit that you conducted in your province? Ikaw ba nakaparticipate dito?
Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, hindi po kami nag-participate specifically because as a staff, we are just supervising and monitoring the activities of the Youth Leadership Summit.
So
because-
similar to Colonel Buransing, you are just aware of the occurrence, but you were not part of the event.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the expenditures for similar programs, would you confirm the statement of Colonel Buransing na
Yes,
ang
Your
mga
Honor.
opisinang participants ay kanya-kanya ng gastos?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
And with respect to the participating children and students thereat, tama po ba yung sinabi ni Colonel Buransing, LGU ang sumusuporta sa expenses nila?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Are you sure?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman.
Can we recall Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan?
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel, tanungin ko lang po yung pagdating sa expenditure. Do you confirm the statement of Colonel Buransing? Kanya-kanya ng gastos lahat ng opisina.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And with respect to the children and the youth, it is the LGU
The
who support the expenses.
Yes, ma'am, through their POPs plan, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I am done with Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. I wish to proceed to Major Dombrigue. Major Dombrigue.
Major Dombriding, you are recognized. Have you taken your oath, Major? Nakapag-take na po kayo ng oath. Okay po.
Major, meron po kayo ditong submission prepared by you, certified by Lieutenant Colonel Panopio. This is about the Joint 7th Infantry Division DepEd Anti-Insurgency Campaign from January 1, 2023 to December 31, 2023. Do you confirm, Major, na ang sinertify niyo po dito ay 313 insurgency awareness and 166 posted social media products?
Good afternoon po. Yes, ma'am, Mr. Chair. Through that data was based on the reports of our line units.
Ang kasama po dito, Brigada Eskwela, Insurgency Awareness, Environmental Protection, shared and posted social media products. And then you also have number of health-related activities. Ang dami po nito, Major. Tanong, saan po nang gagaling yung pondong ginagamit nyo for all of this?
Ma'am, most of that funds was under the PAPs on the APB of our line units.
Ano po yung PAPs? Please enlighten us.
Projects, activities, and programs po.
And can you please tell us which agency is this?
In particular, ma'am, is the Philippine Army in collaborations with our partner stakeholders on the ground.
In other words, similar to the statement of the 3 prior officers, yung mga activities nyo, ang gumagastos is the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tama po ba?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
And as far as your counterpart is concerned, tama po?
Opo, ma'am.
At paano nyo po ba ginagawa itong anti-insurgency awareness?
Ma'am, Your Honor, in partnership with the different schools and local government units, our line units is conducting intensified information awareness drives on security awareness, ma'am.
How about the social media posts? Paano nyo po ba ginagawa to?
Utilizing the social media platforms of our infantry divisions and our line units, ma'am, we cross-post social media products of the AFP units and to include, ma'am, the other agency social media products.
Rough estimate lang po, Major. Sa tingin nyo po itong mga reported activities nyo na to, total of 9,712, the activities I mentioned earlier. If you're aware, mga magkano po ang nagastos na pondo ng AFP dito?
Ma'am, with that figure, the number of anti-insurgency flyers distributed, a very minimal expenses lang po dahil printed flyers lang po ito dun with the bond paper po.
You're saying minimal. You're saying minimal. Minimal expense. You said that?
Yes, ma'am.
And it will no way reach 15 million. Tama?
Hindi po, ma'am.
Hindi.
Hindi po.
No way.
No way.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, gusto ko pong balikan si General Mempin.
General Mempin, you are
I'm about to
recognized.
wrap up, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
General, kanina po sabi nyo, hindi nyo alam yung confidential fund. You
That's
still
correct.
confirm that?
That's correct, Your Honor, Mr.
But I
Chair.
hope you understand that the certifications, which I confirm from the AFP officers, the 4 of them, pertains to the expenditure of 15 million taken from the confidential fund. And according to them, those certifications were required by you.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, actually I was asked by the officer of the Secretary to ask for certification coming from these units. But it is clear to them or even to me that no funds are involved, meaning no funds released to these units. What the Office of the Secretary is wanted to know is the product or the result of the collaboration of various stakeholders, including DepEd, with regards to our youth. So it is clear, ma'am, that DepEd has not released any single centavo to the conduct of wireless to the units mentioned, ma'am, Your Honor, and Mr. Chair.
If you are saying, General Mempin, na walang nirelease na pondo ang DepEd dito po sa Youth Leadership Summits, saan po ginastos yung 15 million?
That's, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, that was, I was not aware of it because the task given to me is just to coordinate because to be candid about it, the commanders of Colonel Buransing, Colonel Panopio, and Lieutenant Colonel Sangdaan are my former colleagues or classmates in the Philippine Military Academy.
Mr. Chair, I wish to ask the COA, Attorney Camora, tama ba ang understanding ko? Sa AOM, may disallowance na 75 million. Out of 75 million, you are asking for supporting documents of the 15 million which were paid as rewards to informers.
Attorney Camora, you are recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And in response to that supporting documents, the DepEd submitted these certifications about the Youth Leadership Summit. Tama ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
In other words, these certifications submitted by the AFP officers are being used as justification for the 15 million utilization paid as reward to informers. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
General Mempin, your statement is completely contradictory to the stand and position of COA.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as I previously mentioned, the only task given to me is to coordinate to my colleagues in the active service of the Philippine Army to have a report on the conduct of Youth Leadership Summit. But as to the utilization or disbursement of 15 million payment to informers, I was not made aware of it, and I have no knowledge that this certification is for the payment of informers. Your Honor and Mr. Chair.
General Mempin, I understand we also have Major General Bahaw. You have a letter here, General Bahaw. This is about the 9 Youth Leadership Summits. Kanino nyo po ito in-address?
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, Mr. Chair. May I be recognized?
Major General Bahaw, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ma'am, I addressed the letter to Yusek Nolasco Mempin po, updating him of the YLS conducted in my division then.
And similar to the questions that were propounded to the 3 other AFP Officers, kapag ho ba nagwa-YLS kayo, sinong gumagastos?
Ma'am, sari-sariling agency po na nagpa-participate dito ang gumagastos. Sa amin po, more on facilitation and security, kami po ang gumagastos sa sarili naming mga tropa.
And with respect to the children and the youth who are the participants, do you confirm what they said already? LGU ang gumagastos?
Yes, ma'am.
At kanina po sinabi din ni General Memfin, balikan ko si General Memfin, sabi niyo po, General, wala talagang gastos ang DepEd dito?
To
You
be clear,
stated that kanina.
because as I was asked if the confidential funds is used for the conduct of wireless, so it's clear that no funds is downloaded or given to the Philippine Army for the use of the conduct of wireless, but if confidential fund is given
General,
to informers
that
of
is
DepEd.
tantamount to saying na walang gastos ang DepEd sa inyo. When you said that they did not or DepEd did not download any fund to the military. Tama?
That's correct, Your
So,
Honor. and
what you wanted to say, walang ginastos ang DepEd sa taga-military when it comes to the Youth Leadership Summit. Do you confirm that?
That's I confirm that's correct, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I am very much surprised, but let me wrap up and make this manifestation before I yield to the other members of the committee. While we believe that these certifications were submitted to justify the 15 million that were allegedly paid as reward to informers, now all the officers from the AFP, that includes General Memfin, the USEC for Administration, are stating that the DepEd did not utilize any of its confidential fund in support of the Youth Leadership Summit. These statements, Mr. Chair, are completely contradictory to what DepEd has made the COA believe in the submission of all these certifications. Mr. Chair, to proceed, let us all be reminded, ito pong confidential fund na ito, pera ng taong bayan. We, all of us, are accountable to the Filipino citizens. Public office is a public trust. We should be accountable to the people at all times. And I do not understand why these people who are supposed to explain the 15 million is totally unaware of the same, because they are saying that they never use the DepEd fund and what they use is the fund of the AFP. While we understand, Mr. Chair, that confidential fund by its nature is not encouraged to be scrutinized, there is nothing under the law that prohibits the same as well. There are important observations, Mr. Chair. Number one, among all civilian agencies, DepEd is one of the very few with confidential fund. Two, DepEd had this confidential fund only in 2023 and never in prior time. Three, I hope we can show also that while the DND, which has a mandate to address the national security, has 37 million confidential fund only, the Department of National Defense has 37 million. The DepEd, which mandate does not include national security, has 150 million confidential fund. Mr. Chair, to continue, while the police, the AFP officers already denied this YLS, having been supported by DepEd, 15.54 million po ang amount that the DepEd is trying to justify in making use of the certifications that were submitted by the AFP. Number 5, Mr. Chair. Prior to 2016, pag ang pinag-usapan po natin ay Youth Leadership Summit, it is the AFP who leads and they just coordinate with DepEd. But on the report that was given by COA, it seems to appear that the one leading the Youth Leadership Summit is the DepEd in coordination with AFP. Paligtad po ito. Number 6, Mr. Chair. I do not want to preempt any conclusion. However, Mr. Chair, General Mempin spent 2017 to 2023 of his AFP career in Davao City and Davao region. During this time, the former president is the president and our vice president is the mayor. During those time, Mr. Chair, Davao City, while it is authorized to have and to utilize confidential fund, I believe has one of the highest confidential fund among the LGUs in the entire country. I hope the Secretariat can produce the data. I wish to ask Mr. Chair, ito bang lahat ng ito ay coincidences? Given this observation, let us all be reminded that the leeway that is being given to confidential fund is to be able to address a very important concern, and that is national security of the country. No more, no less. The procurement and the liquidation were made liberal in recognition of the significance of the purpose of the confidential fund. However, Mr. Chair, if there are glaring indications of irregularity already, as those that we have mentioned, plus the admission of the AFP, is it not that COA should address its mandate of making sure that all receipts and all expenditures are duly accounted for the Filipino people? Question number 1, since when has irregularity in confidential fund been happening? 2, what has COA done so far with respect to its accounting rules in order to address the irregularity? And 3, will COA simply brush aside these irregularities, especially with the admission of the AFP that they were the one who spent for the 15 million Youth Leadership Summit and not the Department of Education? Let us remember, regardless of which office in the government we belong, public trust always carries accountability. To tone down the mood of our investigation at para mas maintindihan po ako ng mga tao, mayroon hong prominent na line sa pelikulang Star Wars. Ang sabi, comes with great power is great responsibility. If you translate this to constitutional language, let us all be reminded, public office is a public trust. The trust that is given to us by the people carries with it due accountability. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro. The Chair,
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
with the indulgence of Congressman Flores, Congressman Acop, the Chair recognizes Congressman Acop.
I would just like to ask some clarificatory questions regarding the interpellation of the Honorable Luistro. May I know who can answer me? Sino ang makakasagot? Kanino bang program itong sinasabi natin na Youth Leadership Summit? Is it a program of the DepEd The Armed Forces of the Philippines? Kanino? Sino makapagsasabi sa akin?
Major General Bajau?
Bahaw, sir.
Bahaw?
May I be recognized, Mr. Chair?
You are recognized.
Your Honor, it's a Philippine Army-wide program, a 3-day activity po.
It's an activity included in the budget of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's one of PPAs insofar as your budget is concerned.
Yes, sir.
So in other words, when you conduct these events, you do not need the help of other agencies or the funding of other agencies.
I would disagree
Sabi ko
to that,
funding.
Your Honor, because we can only spend for our own troops, but the need of other participants and the subject matter experts have to be carried by participating agencies po.
What is the legal basis why the program of the Armed Forces of the Philippines is participated on by other agencies of government? What is the legal basis?
Your Honor, we just operate in the context of the Peace and Order Councils po. Our participation in the POC would also reflect on the participation of other agencies when we conduct this activity, sir.
Oh, direct question na lang, General. Did you receive any funds from the confidential funds of the OVP in the conduct of these events?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
There's no funds coming from. There are no funds coming from the Office of the Vice President.
Yes, sir. No funds
Regarding
coming
this.
from them.
Thank you. May I ask Yusek Memphine,
Yes, sir.
Yusek Mempin, you are recognized.
why would
Yes,
yes, why
Yes,
would
Your Honor.
certifications be addressed to you?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as I mentioned to a while ago, I was asked by the Office of the Secretary to
By
get
the-
report from the
You were asked by the please
Office of the
repeat.
Secretary.
By the
Office of the Secretary.
and who in the office of the secretary asked you that? Hindi naman pwedeng magsalita yung office of the secretary, di po ba? So
It's a-
there must be somebody from the office of the secretary who asked you to do that.
It's
And may I know who that is?
it's our former Chief of Staff.
And who might that be? And who might that be?
Former USEC Attorney Mike Poa po, sir. Your Honor.
Yusek Poa. Would you agree to the answer of the Yusek Mempin?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Congressman Acop, yes, I confirm that.
That you asked him to ask for the certifications from the different unit commanders of the Philippine Army?
If I may explain, Your Honor, the
Hindi,
answer is
sagutin
yes.
mo muna yung tanong ko bago ka mag-explain.
Yes
Di ba?
po. Yes po.
So, tama yung sagot sa akin ni Yusek Memphine.
Yes po.
Na kayo po ang humingi sa kanya na humingi siya ng certification doon sa mga units ng Philippine Army na nag-conduct ng YLS.
Your Honor, if I may qualify, hindi po specifically on YLS. What I asked for was for any accomplishment. Kasi po yung ayon doon sa AOM na natanggap namin, pag nagbigay daw po ng rewards, you needed evidence of success of the information you received from the rewards. I mean, you received through the giving out of rewards. So because of this, I coordinated with Yusek Mempin to see to provide any proof of accomplishment para po doon sa rewards na na-disburse ng confidential funds.
Thank you. And may I ask, you have been in the Army, Yusek Memphine, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Ano po ang part ng programang YLS na may kasamang rewards? Could you please tell me which part of that program would require the giving or the awarding of rewards? Which part of the program would require the gathering of information? Kasi yun po yung purpose ng confidential fund ng DepEd. 4 po yun. Now, which part of this?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, for the conduct of YLF per se, there's no,
No.
in that particular, any areas of that for the
Yes.
rewards, giving of rewards, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Basahin ko man ng ilang beses yung programa na yon, walang nagsasabi doon na pwedeng gamitin yung confidential fund ng isang agency. Would you agree with me?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So, Yusek po, mali po yun. Kasi kitang-kita naman na natin that you ask for these documents to support your liquidation insofar as the confidential fund of the Department of Education is concerned. Kasi hindi naman kaya basically primordial na kasama doon po sa mga events na yun. And yet, you are submitting or you submitted to COA documents to support your liquidation of the confidential fund of the Department of Education. Wala Kahit na anong basa ko. Kasi, for your information, Yusek Powa, naging controller ako ng pulis kaya alam ko kung ano ang sinasabi nitong mga membro ng Philippine Army ngayon Alam ko rin na ginagamit nyo lang yun para i-justify yung expenditure nyo ng confidential fund ng Department of Education. Di ba? You just use that to justify your liquidation of the fund. Di po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
If I may also just, if Your Honor would allow me, Mr. Chair.
Sir Michael Powa, you're recognized.
Basically, just to expound and just so I can inform the committee factually what happened. We received an AOM back in February asking for certain documents. One of which are the DEPs, which are the document evidence of payments. Another one would be for pag may rewards daw, kailangan daw po merong evidence of success. Because I am not aware on how the confidential funds are operationalized, I went to Yusek Mempin, who is our former security consultant, to ask if there would be any document that we would be able to show the COA na meron namang success, on the premise that whatever activity was conducted on the ground by the military was targeted because of information received from DepEd due to those rewards given out. Yun po yung pinanggagalingan ko. And when I received the certifications, I submitted them as such in response lang po to the AOM.
Mr. Chair, just a clarification. No?
Apo.
I think
Yes, Congressman Abante, you're
I
recognized.
heard him mention that he is not aware of the nature of the confidential fund. Is that right?
Not the nature, if I may clarify, Mr. Chair, not the nature, I understand the nature of confidential funds, but on how it is actually operationalized or used on the ground, under oath, I would like to state for the record that I'm really not aware. Hindi ko po nakita yung fund, hindi ko po alam kung paano siya ino-operationalize on the ground. Ang participation ko po ay naganap nung ako po ay OIC for finance kasi at that time, nung na-receive namin yung AOM. And we had to respond to the AOM. And so because we had to respond to the AOM, I had to get all the documentation that COA was asking for po through that AOM.
So ibig sabihin po, hinihingi nyo lamang po itong mga documentation na to para lang ma-justify kung paano ginamit. Pero in actual, hindi talaga doon ginamit. Tama po ba? Parang gano'n ang pagkakaintindi ko Parang hinihingi nyo lang po yung certification nung nilabasan na kayo ng AOM.
Tama po.
Tama po?
Tama po. Nung
Yun.
lumabas po yung AOM,
Saka kayo humihingi nito.
kailangan daw po ng evidence of success.
Yes. So kahit na hindi doon
naghanap po
ginamit, gumawa kayo ng mga documentation na parang doon ginamit. Parang ganun. Kung tama po yung pagkakaintindi ko.
Hindi naman po, Mr.
Kasi
Chair,
lumalabas po, hindi naman po doon ginamit yung confidential fund. Pero itong documentation na in-issue po nila Yusek Mempin, yun ang sinabit natin sa COA just to justify yung AOM.
Mr. Chair, again, this is just under my impression nung nakuha ko yung certification. Po. The certification po kasi, when I read it, stated that they conducted yung mga YLS based on the information received from LGUs, DepEd, etc. So ang impression ko po, and again, this is just my impression, is that because of the information they received from DepEd, sinagawa nila, targeted kung saang areas yung YLS. Again, that is just my interpretation of the certification, Your Honor. And now, whether or not that is indeed the case, I really do not have personal knowledge to
Yes, but
confirm.
you have no idea if the fund coming from confidential fund was utilized from LYS. Wala po kayo idea.
I cannot confirm or deny that, Your
tama
Honor.
po. Yes, the chair would like to recognize. Yes, please continue, Congressman Akop.
Thank you. So, Yusek Memphine, wala pong ibinaba na pondo sa Armed Forces of the Philippines or sa Philippine Army units. Wala.
As far as I know, sir, wala po daw po, sir.
Yung mga units ng Philippine Army which conducted the summits, wala rin po kayong pondong natanggap galing sa DepEd. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
That's correct. Now, may I ask, bakit kayo nag-issue ng certification? Hindi. That's not you kasi hindi naman ikaw nag-certify eh. Why did you issue certification?
Sino pong sasagot?
Mr. Chair,
Colonel
Colonel
Boransing,
Boransing. Yes,
you are recognized.
Mr. Chair, sir, as I earlier mentioned, sir, because almost all of our activities on the ground are multi-stakeholder. When we appear in activities of one or many agencies ask for certifications of attendance, as I have asked the Secretary to issue us with a certificate of attendance that we attended this activity. We assume that that certification was also for for that purpose. So a lot of other national government agencies and local government units ask for certifications in that manner also.
So you're trying to tell us that it was Yusek Memphine which required the submission of those certifications. Siya po ba ang nag-require sa inyo?
Yes, he asked, Mr. Chair. Yes, sir.
Was it through a written document or what?
He called our commander, sir.
Ganun na po ba ngayon sa Armed Forces of the Philippines?
Well, sir, the other agencies also, like for instance, the Department of, the regional offices of the Department of Agriculture, TESDA, they also text me during our activities. So I think it's an accepted mode of unofficial communication, sir.
For your information, yun pong purpose ng confidential fund ng DepEd in its accomplishment report ay 4 po. For your information. Number 1, counterinsurgency programs. Number 2 is abuse prevention and control within schools. Number 3, anti-illegal activities operations. And anti-extremism and terrorism programs. Di po ba? Nowhere could I find dito po sa accomplishment report na sinabmit ng Office of the Department of Education, would I see na yung activity ng Armed Forces of the Philippines is enumerated. Wala eh. Wala akong makita. And yet, yung mga ginawa niyong activities, nandun ngayon dun sa, sa liquidation ng contingency fund ng DepEd. Bakit ganun? Yusek Mempin, did you not ask why? When you were asked to get certifications or to secure certifications from those units of the Armed Forces of the Philippines which conducted the YLS, hindi mo tinanong bakit?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, as former Yusek po mentioned, I was also informed that the Office of the Secretary needs some impact or outcome of the efforts of the Department of Education in terms of protecting the youth, including the out-of-school youth and some IPs. So I was not aware of that is the purely justification for the confidential fund. So I coordinated with the Philippine Army commanders, my former colleagues, to give feedback or in terms of certification that they have conducted YLS in coordination with various stakeholders to include Department of Education. So yun po yung parang pinaka-basis ng coordination ko po sa mga Philippine Army units na nandito po ngayon.
Kasi maski sa certification, Yusek, wala rin akong nakitang na amount na nakalagay doon sa mga certifications ng mga unit commanders ng Philippine Army. Wala. So, may ibang purpose lang yung pagkuha nyo ng certification na yun. And as I've said, it is used to justify yung expenditure ng or pag-spend ng confidential fund ng Department of Education. Now, COA, would it be true na nagbigay po kayo ng CN o credit notice doon sa first 2 quarters ng use ng confidential fund ng DepEd?
Attorney Camora, you are recognized.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
May I know the basis why nagbigay po kayo ng credit notice? Kasi what I know is if you give credit notice, everything is proper.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, bakit po kayo nagbigay ng credit notice doon sa first 2 quarters?
Since submit po sila ng documents that we required in the AOM, we deem them okay na po for the compliance.
Parang sa joint circular din,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, yun nga po, yung certifications is
And-
one of the requirements po.
When I
I
say
mean-
parang sa joint circular, you do not do anything to find out whether the data or the certifications given you would be reasonable or true? Hindi nyo tinitignan, di po ba?
Mr. Chair, since dun sa certifications, nilagay po nila na due to the collaboration between the DepEd and the Philippine Army, wala pong mga batang recruited. Okay na po yun sa amin.
Okay na sa inyo. Pursuant to your, shall we say, circulars.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ganon.
Yes,
Ganon po
Mr.
yun.
Chair.
Paano nga natin mababantayan yung kwan? Kung pag ganyan ang inyong pag-iisip. Di po ba? Now, Mr. Chair, please allow me to come up with my parochial concern. Because I heard a while ago that Yusek Densing was in charge of the allocation of the BEFF or Basic Educational Facilities. Tama po ba?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yusek Densing, you are
That's correct, sir.
recognized.
Correct. Pwede ko bang malaman bakit walang napunta sa Antipolo na school building?
Sir,
during your term or the term of VP Sara?
ang nahawakan ko po actually is 24.
Hindi, tinatanong
Opo.
ko. Sagutin mo muna ako.
Pero sir, ang sa Antipolo kasi, Antipolo, Taytay, tinanong ko rin kasi yan dun sa technical working group, wala na pong buildable space. Yung pang binanggit sa akin.
Walang buildable space.
Opo.
There's a fund with the DepEd na pambili ng spaces. Di po ba?
Wala po. Yun po ang nilabi namin nung nakaraang budget.
That is for GA 2022?
24 po, 24.
Hindi, tinatanong ko nga eh.
Sa 22 po, wala.
Congressman ako noong 2022.
Opo.
My wife was a congresswoman
I wasn't there yet, but there was
since
no fund, sir.
2019.
I was not there
Pero
yet.
wala kaming natatanggap.
Opo.
Your records will bear me out.
Opo. I
As a matter
recognize.
of fact, the first time, 2022, nag-usap po tayo. Kasi kinausap po ninyo yung mga yung mga members ng parties. Di po ba? And we talk. Sinabi ko yung concern ko na yun.
Opo. We did. In fact, nung ginawa nga nila, may mga districts nga, legislative districts na wala.
Now, may I ask you, Yusek Densing, is that following the mandate of the Constitution that you are supposed to equitably distribute government resources?
That's the part of the criteria that I mentioned to the National Technical Working Group.
Tinatanong nga kita eh.
Opo.
When you do not allocate school buildings doon sa isang lugar, is that equitable distribution?
Again, sir, the problem was there are no buildable spaces in the area.
Sino po ang nagsabi?
Yung National Technical Working Group po.
Noong 2024, humingi ako.
Opo.
2024, humingi ako. There are buildable spaces, pero wala pa rin. And you cannot explain that to me.
Well, sir, I could not answer because the fund was really small at the time. Originally at 9.7 NEP.
So what you're trying to tell me, Yusek, is that hindi po priority doon yung distrito ko po.
No, sir. Priority po inyo dahil mataas po ang shortage sa Antipolo.
Kasi meron pa kami 3 shifts eh.
Opo. Kaya po, priority kayo, Taytay.
Pero wala pa rin kami. Kung priority kami sa mata ninyo, bakit hindi kami nabibigyan? Baka tama yung sinasabi ni Johnny Pimentel.
Hindi po tama yan. Hindi po tama yan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.